Welcome to Wanderplea and today's timeless reading. Now, I began by drawing an oracle card from the Sacred Sites Oracle deck for each of the Zodiac signs. And so this isn't quite a pick a card. You can treat it as a pick a card if you'd like, but you can also just go to your sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign, or a sign in which you have a significant planetary placement. So it's really open. Really just sense within yourself which reading or readings you feel drawn to. And the theme of this reading is finding your place of grounding. I know that I have been in a time period of a lot of stress, a lot of fear about where I'm going to be at. I am a foreign spouse in a foreign country, so I married a UK citizen, and I'm on a spouse visa, and I have to renew that visa within the next month, and that's very scary. Because obviously anytime the government is able to say whether you can stay in your home or not, that's terrifying. So I've been having to do a lot of grounding. But then also, as an immigrant, I sort of ground in two places. I ground here with my partner in the UK, but my heart also goes towards my family and friends in the United States. So, I liked playing with that idea of being more than one place at a time, being able to journey in my mind to somewhere else, to have a connection with another place, as well as being grounded in the place that I am. So that was sort of the idea that came about for this reading and was inspired by this deck. So this deck shows sacred sites throughout the world, and I'm excited to share that with you because perhaps the particular location that's been associated with your sign or the signs that you choose, the place itself might be of significance, or perhaps some of the meanings gleaned from that place could be of significance. So I'm very excited to share this reading with you. It's very different because obviously I've just been doing pick-a-cards. I am going to try to keep the readings snappier because obviously my pick-a-cards, I generally go about 20 minutes with each one. This one's going to go a bit quicker. So, this introduction's longer, but the readings should be a bit snappier, and there will be timestamps below and chapters within the video telling you which sign we are at. I will also be using tarot to guide on the reading. So these cards are separated into lower world, middle world, and upper world, or past, present, and potential. But I will also draw tarot to kind of illuminate each of those areas as well. And each sign will be utilizing whatever deck that I feel called to for that sign. So there's several decks that will be at play within this video. So it'll be a bit of a surprise when you get to that section of the video. You might be surprised to see which deck pops up for you. So without further ado, I will meet you at the sign that you choose. Welcome, Aries, to your finding your place of grounding in this moment reading. So we're going west to the islands of Hawaii for your sacred placement. I'm afraid of mispronouncing these, and there's so many different languages at play, so I'm just gonna let you see the name of the place so that I don't mispronounce it. We're going to begin with your lower world, which is past, which is the bottom portion of the card. And as we can see here, there's an octopus. And this is meant to symbolize caution, because obviously you don't want to be taken down by the octopus, to get ensnared. The theme of this card itself is entanglement. So this reading will be dealing with perhaps a way in which you are entangled, or possibly, because we all have shadow sides, a way that you are entangling somebody else, or a situation is entangling you or somebody in your life. So we'll begin with that. So I have pulled a tarot card from the Affirmators Tarot to give us some more illumination on what this octopus might be. Five of Wands, that's very appropriate. First of all, fire. You are a fire sign. Also, I find it very interesting that the card that I drew for tarot, like, I laughed because I love cartomancy. Like, it's always so for our fiery, beautiful, wonderful Aries. We've got volcano, so it's fire. Just so you know, I have Mars in Aries. That's a significant placement in my chart, and I feel it. I feel it. Those who know. So the Five of Wands is conflict, but could be playful conflict. But there's always the danger when we're having play conflict, play fighting, for that to possibly kind of push over into real conflict. So it seems that the danger that we want to avoid in the depths is that conflict, being at odds when potentially we don't need to be at odds, or being in a situation where you need to be at odds, but it's hard because you're entangled. You need to fight your way out of a situation, but that's difficult. And sometimes in a situation that is difficult to leave, it occasionally feels that being stuck there fighting is easier than the fight to get out. And much compassion and good energies towards you if that's the situation you feel that you're in. Now we're going to move on here to the middle world, which is your present, in which we have the Tiki here, who, to my understanding, are personifications of natural forces. So obviously natural forces are important. They do good things, like we need rain, but there can be rain that's super destructive. The ocean needs to have waves, but a tsunami can be super destructive. Volcanoes erupt. So that level of forces being occasionally out of control. And this could apply either to yourself, like your own kind of finding that within yourself, sometimes you just fly off the handle and it's a bit unnecessary and cause devastation around you. Trust me, I do that as well. Or it could be someone else or a situation in your life that is like that for you, where you just don't know when it's gonna blow. You don't know when they're gonna fly off the handle or the situation is gonna get out of control. And that may be where you're at this moment, where you're just like, oh my gosh, my life is a volcano about to erupt, and it's really hard to feel grounded when your life is a volcano that could erupt or is currently erupting. Lava everywhere. So let's see what the tarot's guidance was on that middle world. The Four of Cups, okay. So we've got a bit of apathy here, a bit of boredom. There's the cups that have spilled that, you know, we've got cups here and the flamingo's looking at those and is like, not super into that. And yet we also have a cup that is being offered by the universe, an opportunity. But not the volcano, it's a flamingo. You could rhyme flamingo and volcano in a song, just saying. The flamingo either isn't aware of it or is consciously ignoring that opportunity. It is much more concerned with what's here. So I would say, given this in conjunction with the volcano and the erupting, and with the tiki, with those natural forces that can be destructive, that you might currently be that fixated on what's happening in front of you, that you need to be aware that there's other options, that universe spirit is offering you another option, another cup. And it would possibly be in your best interest to turn your attention to that cup. Let the old cups lie. If it's a bad situation, a bad person, or a bad habit, let that lie. Look for that brightness, that opportunity. So now we're going to move on to the upper world, which is potential or future. And we have the amazing goddess Pele. We have the sun. Now Pele is magnificent, and I don't know as much about her as I would like to. But I do know that she is she's the eater of the land, like the lava. Like, that's one of her titles, is that she's known as a destructive force, but she's also the fertility and the lushness of the island of nature. And every one of us has the potential to be the devourer, the destroyer, and yet also the fertility, the goodness, the lushness. And we have to make that choice. We have to choose the lushness. But yes, we also need to know when it's time to destroy, to tear down as well. Time for everything. So let's see what the tarot guidance is on that. The Six of Wands. Oh, lovely. So we see here in the Six of Wands, this happy little mouse here with flying shoes. This is victory. This is this little mouse here. He is an athlete who's at the top of his game. It's all celebration. So the potential in the future is there for you to make those decisions, implement those new habits and structures within your life, to gain that moment of being at the top of your game, of celebration. And so that is super positive. So for your place of grounding, I think that what I'm taking away as the main message of that here is that you need to shift your focus to the potential, to the future, and then make those necessary changes within your life to facilitate that. They won't necessarily be easy, but it will be worth it. And then you can ground yourself within your true self, within peace. Finding that center of yourself, realizing that you aren't these external factors. You are more than that, and you deserve the best. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, Taurus, to your Find Your Place of Grounding reading. We're going east to your location, which I'm not gonna appall everybody with bad pronunciation, so I'll just let you read the location. And we're going to begin with your lower world, which is the past. Sort of symbolizing the past on these cards because they're broken up into threes. So your lower world is Bacchanalia, the celebration of the good times and the joy, but in a sacred manner. So the focus at the bottom of this lower world here is on sacred enjoyment, sacred lovemaking, sacred drinking of the fruit of the vine, sacred dance, that ecstasy of enjoying the good things. And as we know, us Tauruses enjoy the good things. I'm a Taurus rising, so I am right there with you. I am always down for a good time. I mean, I'm very introverted, so a lot of times it's a good time by myself or just people who are very close to me. But I can also be a bit of a party animal. And, you know, Taurus is, there's that steadiness, that fixedness, but we also have that love of the good life and good things. We're ruled by Venus. We love it. So let's see what the tarot guidance is on your past, on your lower world. And for the sign of Taurus, we are using the Druidcraft Tarot. Four of Cups. Apathy, boredom. It might be that in your recent celebration, there hasn't been much of the sacred. It's just a bit stale. You're lavishing indulgence on yourself, or perhaps wanting to do that, but it just isn't hitting right. It doesn't feel sacred. It's just not hitting right for you. So you're just sort of boredly like, whoa, this again, could anything exciting happen? But meanwhile, the universe, spirit, is offering you another cup. And given the interpretation from our sacred site, that would be a cup of sacred indulgence, sacred celebration, sacred pleasure. So that's very interesting. So let's see where we go from there. Now the middle world is the temple here, which was built on top of Heliopolis, something like that, forgive me. But Jupiter, Bacchus, I believe also Venus, don't quote me on that, they were all worshipped here. And it's that sacredness of indulgence that we want to look at, my dear Taurus, my dear baby cows. I'm a baby cow. We're baby cows. So as baby cows, we want to find that sacredness, and what we want to beware is addiction. Because indulgence can become addiction, and addiction is not sacred. So we're wanting that balance, the balance of things. So let's see what the tarot has to say about that for us today. Ooh, King of Pentacles, how perfect. Earth sign, the king of earth signs. Look at how regal he is. So I love this because in this image we have balance. We've got air, the balance of the elements. All the elements are here, but it's this balance, and he is ruling in sovereignty of that balance. So your grounding is quite literally grounding. Knowing where your roots are, going deep into that root and finding that sacredness to the physical. Understanding that the mundane can also be sacred and not losing sight of that. Understanding when you have to go to the metaphorical temple, whatever your set of beliefs is, whatever that metaphorical hilltop temple is for you, knowing where that is, putting those roots in, balancing those elements, and finding that sovereignty. I love that. Ooh, I love that. Now for the upper world, though, the potential, the future, we got our main man himself, Bacchus. And a lot of people, you know, the general association of him is just like, oh, he's the god of the party time. So anytime we're partying, it's Bacchus time. But that isn't quite it, because his partying is sacred partying. There's enjoying the fruits of the earth in sacredness. So let's see what the tarot has to say about that for you, especially since we're making sure we're not going into addictions. We're balancing. Oh my gosh, I love tarot. Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles, once again, earth sign. We love it. And like the completion of the suit of Pentacles as well. So we've got the ruler and the completion. Also, I'm seeing like, this is emotion. We want rootedness. We want tangibility. So the emotional world needs to be balanced so we can get to this earthness here. This is like generations. So we have a multi-generational family in a resting state. They live comfortably. They have a solid foundation. You can almost see the King of Pentacles in this gentleman here, this grandpa. So your place of rootedness might be in your family, that where you ground in, and also in your legacy, in that balance. Oh, my darling baby cows, Taurus. I think this is fantastic. I am excited for you. Hope I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, Gemini, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. So for your location, your sacred site, we are going north. And I've decided not to read words that aren't in my language that I speak, so that we don't have to suffer through my mispronunciation. So I will just let you see it there. Now, these cards are split into 3 different worlds, the lower, middle, and upper, and they represent past, present, and possibility / future. So we'll begin with the lower world here, and we have Odin on his 8-legged horse. And he can travel to the underworld. He is also the father of several of the Norse gods. And if we want to look at Thor, Thor is the god of thunder. And for some people, thunder can be scary. So for the starting point for this, for your lower world, we want to look at, what are your fears? What are the fears and the anxieties that you have developed in your past that, while it makes sense that they were formed at the time, do not serve you now? And we're wanting to look at ways that you can release those, because when we are in a state of terror, in a state of anxiety, we're not grounding. We're not grounded. And you are a lovely, beautiful air sign. So, you know, there's always that, you want to fly. You want to fly above things. You want to be of the air and moving. And it's difficult to ground, to feel those roots down into the ground. And particularly when fear is involved, it is difficult to even know where to start with that. So we're wanting emotional healing. we're wanting to say, which fears no longer need to be my companion on my journey? Which fear companions on your journey do you need to kick out of the party? Saying, nah, I don't need you with me anymore. That's not easy, but it's very important. So we're going to turn to the tarot to kind of illuminate this concept. And for Gemini, we have the Brady Tarot. Father of roots. Hello. Obviously, roots, earth sign, like pentacles. We have this adorable mole here and all the little critters under the earth living his best life. And you can see he's emerging. So half of him is beneath the earth with the roots, and the other half is popping up, sniffing the fresh air, looking at the stars, smelling the flowers. And I think that's a beautiful representation for you, my dear, beautiful Gemini. And it's that just because you're rooting doesn't mean you're also still within the air. And I also love here because we have a tree with roots and we have roots. So I think it's really pertinent for you to find that balance, to know that you can be rooted, but you don't have to fear that you're always going to be down deep in there. You also can come up and be in the fresh air. And yes, I could see all these little underworld critters here, those things that you don't, here we can also see that he's not wanting to look at these things down here. I mean, they're his food source, but as well, it's like, you know, maybe he doesn't really want to look at the creepy crawlies right now. Maybe you don't want to look at the creepy crawlies right now. But it's important to deal with them. And I think that ties in very beautifully with that lower world there. And we're going to turn to the present, to the middle world. And on this card, we have some beautiful stones that are inscribed. And the inscription on these stones have to do, are from the time period when the Danes transitioned out of their native religion to Christianity. And there were a lot of reasons for that. And in one of these particular inscriptions, it's a king who, it was just a very practical rulership reason for him to make that transition. And so in the present, what you also, in addition to having to cast out those fears, you also need to look at your beliefs. What do you need to look at in a different way? Go through those beliefs and see which beliefs were inherited, kind of forced on you as a child. And what do you actually believe? What is it important for you to believe to you? You need to really be looking at you, because you cannot ground truly until you know what it is that is important to you, what beliefs you stand by, and no one else can tell you what those are. Only you can. You and your spirit guides. So in the present, you may find that you're being called to look at things in a different way, which in some ways I would say kind of comes naturally to the Gemini. You know, the twins, being able to see both sides, have two perspectives, and yet still having that cohesiveness, because twins, you know, are very similar to each other, but they're also their own people. So you're going to need to have that dialogue with yourself, with your past self, with your present self, and also in that consideration of what your future self is going to be. So let's see what the tarot card guidance is on that. I love it. It's perfect. The Hanged One. The Hanged One. So we got this possum hanging by the tail, playing with lightning bugs, changing her perspective here. She's just changing her perspective. And that is precisely what we were talking about. I don't even think I have to go into it because that's, the Hanged One is about changing of perspective. And that's the time period you're in right now. Being the Hanged One as well. That ties in with our good friend Odin, who sacrificed himself to himself at the World Tree to gain knowledge and wisdom. So yes, you know it, the cards know it. Now let's move on to the upper world, which is the top of the World Tree. We also have Odin's ravens, which I think is perfect because you're an air sign, you like to fly. Also, for the sake of grounding, you need to slide back down the World Tree to the roots and the source of your beliefs. And that will give you that potential. This is a little bit more complicated because you're in flight, but you can also slide down, sort of like in this image, he's, between. You can go between the worlds. You can go to the underworld and the roots, and you can also be in the heavens, soaring. I literally just looked out my window and saw a flock of birds flying. That is perfect. As the sun rises, absolutely gorgeous. Let's see what tarot has to say about this. Oh, what am I looking at? I know I've seen all the cards in this. Okay. 7 of Horns, breach. 7 of Cups, 7 of Horns, breach. That's illusion. So you want to be aware of that illusion. And it can feel like when you're going up and down the World Tree and you're going into the other worlds and you are the twins, there can be too many options, an overwhelm of options. So you want to be wary of that, because if you've got too much happening within your spirit, within your thoughts, it's hard to ground. So you do need to make choices. And I know that is difficult. The beautiful thing is that you can make a choice and then later decide that that choice isn't the correct thing for you now. It's not serving you now, so you can let that go. But in the here and now, in order to ground, and while you change your perspectives, you're still going to need to make choices. Because periods of being the Hanged One is important, but you can't live upside down. At some point, you're gonna pass out or get a headache as the blood rushes to your head. Like, you need to also turn right side up. You want to be able to go in the earth and be of the air. You want to be able to choose a cup and drink it. So that's very exciting. I am excited for you, Gemini. It's a tricky time, but you know how to handle it. You're going to do fantastic. Thank you for joining me today. I hope I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, my beautiful Cancer, to your Find Your Place of Grounding reading. And for your sacred site, we are going east to Mount Fuji. Now we'll begin in the lower world, which is the past, and there we find a beautiful tea ceremony. And what this tea ceremony is inviting you to do is to focus on tranquility. It is a meditative ceremony. In meditation, we let the negative thoughts just flow away. We don't focus on the past. We don't focus on the future. We are in the present. And that is the invitation that we receive in the lower world of this card, as well as being able to mark a line between the daily hubbub, the profane, mundane world, and that which is sacred to us. And tranquility is sacred. So your past is inviting you to let the past go and be in that tranquility. So let's see what tarot has to say about the lower world here. And for your reading, Cancer, I used my pocket-sized tin Centennial Smith Waite deck. So we're going classic. We're going with a classic, an oldie but goodie here for you. Oh, I love everything about doing readings. It never gets old. It just gets more and more exciting. We have the Four of Swords, which is quite small because this is pocket size. We've got a little guy here. So this card, it's not about death, but it can be about a death to the past, like of letting things go. But it also is an intense card of rest and tranquility. And also we see a sacredness here because this is the tomb of a warrior within a church. None of these swords are currently being employed in battle. It is just serenity. It is finding that place of the present, the sacredness of the present, and resting in that. So it's absolutely beautiful because the meanings and the interpretations of this card really go well with this lower world. So let's move on to the middle world, which is the present. And there we have Mount Fuji herself, who is also a volcano. So there's a lot of potential within this mountain here. And for this card, this mountain, this volcano, is an invitation for you to think outside the box. There is a type of holy people, priests, in this area whose entire thing is about connecting with that sacred and sharing those gifts with others, sharing that tranquility. I'm not saying names because I don't want to torture anyone with my terrible pronunciations, so we're being a bit vague here. I'm going off of what I remember about this card and how I interpret it as well. So in your present, you need to be fully present. Yes, you have ancient history behind you. Yes, you have your own personal history behind you, but you need to be present. Yes, you hold the potential for future. You're a volcano, but you don't have to be erupting. Let's see what the tarot has to say about this middle card here. Aha! The World. Talk about woohoo! So the World is the final card in the major arcana. So it is both an ending and a beginning. The Fool's journey begins with card 0 with the Fool, and the Fool travels to the point where they are within that fullness of the world. But then it also means that when you hit the world, you begin a new journey. So as you are encountering this great mountain, this great volcano, you have been on a journey. You have collected all of these different points of wisdom. And as well, the person in the center of the world is meant to be sort of non-binary. Now in the original art, I don't really see that as much, but a lot of later decks kind of work on that non-binary thing. Like, this is neither male nor female. It can be both. It can be neither. It can be either. get what I'm saying. If that's relevant at all, that's there. So you have completed something, because this also speaks to a completion. This soldier has completed his job. You have completed a cycle, and a new cycle is beginning. In your present, a new cycle is beginning, and that means that the past needs to be let go. You need to be present. That's present. Now, let's go into the future potential. And in this card, that future potential holds a beautiful story. This is a beautiful sun goddess. And at one time, her storm brother raged and destroyed and brought evil into the world. And so she hid away in the darkness from this devastation. And while she was hiding in the dark, she heard the laughter of the other gods. And so she sort of peeks out and is like, how can you laugh when there's so much wrong in the world, when everything's so terrible and destroyed? And so they take a mirror and they show her for the first time her radiant beauty. And seeing that, she realizes she needs to share that with the world. And so she comes out of hiding and takes her place and is a source of joy and beauty and radiance within the world. So that is very exciting, because it shows that as you go on this new journey and you're present, that you will find a reason for joyous laughter. And you will show yourself. So let's see what the tarot has to say about that upper world, that potential, the future. The Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups he is an emotional young man. He's a romantic young man. And he isn't in any hurry. In fact, none of the cards in the spread are in any hurry. They're very much just in the moment. So once again, it's all tying together. In the moment. Let the past and the future go. Be in the moment. Where are we at now? Where can we find that tranquility? And he is pausing here at this river on his horse with his cup of his emotions. Just taking a breather. Meditating, essentially. But he's in no hurry. And that is the beautiful thing. You do not need to be in any hurry. You can still achieve things while being in a state of tranquility. And in that, you can find your rootedness. You can find your place. Things may change again in the future, and you can always choose new things in the future. But you're making choices now. You're being yourself now, and yourself will evolve, but be yourself now. You don't need to be yourself from before. Be yourself now. So that was my reading. I think it was very beautiful. I hope I get to read for you again. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, lovely Leos, my little lion cubs, to your Find Your Place of Grounding reading. So, for your sacred site, we are going south. And I don't want to mispronounce things, so just read the name of the place. So we're going to begin in your lower world, which is the past. And you have like one of the most ultimate treasures of all time in your past. And that is the Ark of the Covenant. And it is between these two lovely candles. This is calling you to not be afraid of your own light, to not be afraid of your own mysteries. You are a treasure. There is ancient treasure within you. And there's also that current fire. You are a fire sign treasure as well. So do not be afraid of your own treasure and of mystery. Let's see what tarot has to say about your past. And for your tarot reading, we are using the Celtic Tarot by Christopher Hughes. Ooh, major arcana out the gate, Leo. You've got the Mother, or the Empress, for your past, your lower world. And she is enthroned. And yes, Leo, you have a royalty to you, and a lot of the times you know it. And in this, this mother, she is very active. She understands sacrifice. She has fertility. She knows when to plant seeds. She knows when to reap that harvest. She's enthroned in that ultimate sovereignty of the earth. And so while you are a fire sign and you want to burn brightly, don't be afraid to also delve into the other elements within yourself, into that water of emotion, into that fertility, into that earth, into the air, and into the spirit, into the body. Now let's see what this middle world, the present, has to say for you, my Leo. So we have this chapel here. And this chapel is built on the site of another chapel. And it is rumored, it is said, that this chapel contains the Ark of the Covenant. They won't let anybody see it though. It's a secret, so it's very much a mystery. And so in your present, there is a call for you to investigate those mysteries. And you may never find the exact answer, but the joy is in that journey. You will find that rootedness in that journey. And that may even be looking into your past and saying, what did that mean? Leo is fire. Leo is very much in the present, I think, a lot of the times. And for you to find a place of rootedness, there might need to be an investigation of the past, of that hidden treasure, that mystery of it, and say, hey, there's way more to this than meets the eye. Do I have the Ark of the Covenant? Do I not? And also, does it matter whether I have the actual one or not? So a time of investigation. Now let's see what the tarot has to say about your present, about your middle world. Ooh, yes, absolutely perfect. Okay, love this. We've got the Chariot. Once again, major arcana. You are in that major arcana mode right now, Leo. And that is fantastic. And now the Chariot, in some decks it's in motion, in some decks it is still. It's hard to tell whether this Chariot is still or in motion. But for the purposes of what we're looking at the minute, it doesn't quite matter. That is going on that journey. So you are ready to go on that journey and to search through the mysteries of yourself and of other things that are of interest and importance to yourself right now. All systems go. You've got a wand in hand. You're ready. So that is very exciting. I am loving that for you, Leo. Now let's see what this upper world is, and yours is quite fantastic. Because here we have, in the upper world, the potential, the Queen of Sheba. One of the most beautiful women ever. And a woman who sought wisdom, sought mystery, to the point where she was even willing to travel to meet with Solomon the Wise, who may have also been a magician, and to go speak with him of mysteries and to bring that knowledge back. So you are going towards that queenly energy, that Queen of Sheba. You're seeking, it's all seeking mystery. It's all seeking wisdom and knowledge and being able to root yourself in that quest, burning brightly. So let's see what tarot has to say about your upper world, your potential, your future. The Nine of Wands. Now this is an interesting turn, because in the Nine of Wands, we have someone who has been fighting and defending, but is kind of stuck. And so I would say this is a bit of a warning. You don't want to have to continue, like, be stuck in one place fighting. You need to leave this battlement. So in the future, you don't want to have to be in a constant state of defense. You need to look up to the stars and begin following them. And in that search, in your quest, that is where you find a place of grounding, a place of rootedness. Well, this is quite exciting. You are all systems go. Make sure to take care of yourself as you go forth in this massive energy. I'm so happy to have you joining me. I hope I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, lovely Virgo, to your finding your place of grounding reading. So for your sacred site, we are going north. And when I've decided for this, when the location is in a place that that is not my native language, I'm not gonna make anyone suffer through me trying to say it. So I'm just gonna show you the word and you can read it yourself. So this is where we're going. Now we'll begin with the lower world, which is the past. And here we have a pilgrim's passport. Now, full disclosure, I myself am a Virgo sun, so I am here with you, preaching to the choir. So this is the pilgrim's passport that is going to the resting place of St. John. And St. John was beheaded, so there's a lot of intensity there. But I want to focus on pilgrimage in your past and also in your present as well, because you may feel drawn to go on a pilgrimage, go on a sacred journey to something, whether that's within your heart, within yourself, or physically, to find that place of grounding. But pilgrimages are not easy. Pain and struggle, even boredom, fear, that is all a part of the pilgrimage, of the path that you walk. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your past. And for your reading, I have selected the Wildwood Tarot. Aha, the Archer. We have major arcana here. Now, the Archer must have patience and cunning and careful taking of aim. They don't just loose arrows anywhere. They know what they're pointing at. And given this concept of pilgrimage, you need that focus to know where you're headed. where you will be grounding. You're not just going willy-nilly. Maybe in the past you did. Maybe in the past you weren't aiming at anything particularly. But now you need to be. And you need to have that slow meditative state of pulling that arrow back, aiming, and then letting it go on its swift journey to its destination. That is very beautiful. Now let's have a look at the middle world here. In the middle world, we have the cathedral that is the resting place of Saint John. In your present, you may be in the middle of a pilgrimage or some kind of journey, whether internal or external or both. And feeling that exhaustion, like I can't go forward anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is so wearisome. Like the journey is getting to you. You just want to stop. And this middle world challenges you to think about what you're aiming at. So in the middle of this journey towards where you're going, in your present, you need to ground in the present, but also imagine the destination. Imagine that joy and relief and that holy ecstasy and that rest that will come when you reach your destination of your pilgrimage. And then steadily keep going. Now let's see, as well as remembering that the pain of this moment, the stress and the strain of this moment is a part of the pilgrimage. It all goes together. So let's see what Tarot has to say about this. Aha! Balance. We love it. Balance. Once again, major arcana. I believe this is Temperance, I think, in the system. Yes, so what you need to do is balance, and on this pilgrimage, balance the fact, like, feel your tiredness, and take note of it, the weariness. Do take little rests, but don't stop for too long. Balance that rest and that present moment with your goal, with the place that you're going on the pilgrimage to. And that way, with that balance, then your journey is complete. So balance everything. Feel your exhaustion, but don't allow yourself to fall into despair. Think about the destination. Imagine all the wonder that will happen when you get there. But don't lose yourself to that imagining. Don't lose that focus on what's happening around you in the here and now at this point of the pilgrimage. Oh, that is fantastic. Now let's look at the upper world. And in the upper world, we have Saint John happily gazing down at his place of resting in the Milky Way and the stars. Your pilgrimage will reconcile you with the miracle of who you are. And that is what you want to focus on. That's the end goal, truly. It's not just what you state the end goal of being. The reason you're going on this pilgrimage is to find the true miracle of you, to reconcile things, to bring reconciliation and wholeness to yourself and to those around you and the relationships that you are in. And your relationship, and that includes the relationship to the world, the relationship to nature, the universe, other people, everything. So it's truly like, it's a holy, sacred thing. That's the true destination. And of course, as with all pilgrimages, when you have reached that completion, a new pilgrimage begins. Because it's a cycle. It's an ever-turning wheel. So let's see what tarot has to say about the future, the upper world, the potential. Oh, lovely. Queen of Stones, Bear. So this is like the Queen of Pentacles. It's Earth Queen. And you, my dear Virgo, are also an Earth Queen. You're an Earth sign, you're an Earth Queen. And we have this beautiful mama bear, and she is in her strength. No one's messing with this mama. She has a high vantage point. She can look out. She can see any threats coming. This mama is rooted. This mama knows who she is. She's a queen. And she can take care of those that matter to her, her cubs. And I feel that this pilgrimage, that's what you want to be. You want to be in that strength. You want to be in that sovereignty of that mama, Queen Mama of Stones. And you will. You will. Just keep on that pilgrimage, even when it's hard. Keep your aim, but also be balanced, and don't miss out on the beauties of the current moment, because I know that's difficult for us, Virgo. We want everything to be just so. We're trying to organize things and kind of position the world in a way that it makes sense, and it doesn't always make sense. Most of the times it doesn't. So keep that balance. Always be finding that place of grounding, but also realize that the place in which you are grounding will change and evolve, just as you change and evolve, and just as you go along your journey of life. Oh, that was beautiful. I'm taking it to my own heart, not gonna lie. This, my little self, I want to be the Queen Mama of Stones. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, my lovely Libra, to your Find Your Place of Grounding reading. So, for your sacred place, we are going west to the Grand Canyon, which is amazing. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, and it's like, oh wow, now I'm very far away from it, but you know, such is life. Perhaps someday I'll get to go there. So we'll start with the lower world, which is the past. And here we have a man and a woman with their hair braided together, representing equality. Obviously, as the scales, equality would be something that I would think a Libra would be all about. But this here begs the question, in your past and even in your current life, do you see equality? Have you faced prejudices or inequalities? Do you see others around you facing that? This is a call to bring out those scales and bring that equality, to fix the inequalities of the past. And of course, one person can't fix everything, but finding your little zone and balancing it out, bringing the equality, yet still with a flowing like the river. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your lower world, the past. And for your reading, I'm using the Affirmators Tarot. Oh, so we're starting off with Major Arcana. Always love some Major Arcana energy here. And we are beginning with the Hermit, which is interesting. I will say that when inequalities are present, when there is unbalance, it is often necessary to leave that situation, to go into your own sort of hermitage to escape. Because obviously, if you were just by yourself, focusing on you things and your own wisdom and your own knowledge and yourself, in that place, you are equal because you're it, and you can escape from inequalities. But at some point, this sweet little hermit crab will need to face the fact that there is more to the world outside of their little place on the mountain, and that within that world there are inequalities. And in order for both the little hermit crab and others to truly feel safe in grounding and planting themselves, those inequalities need to be addressed. So this may be where you've had to flee to escape the inequality, and you've been working on yourself. You've been learning deep wisdom. But let's see what the middle world has to say. So here in the middle world, we have the Grand Canyon itself, which is majestic and huge. And I like to imagine that this little hermit could be looking down at the Grand Canyon. So that's really super cute and fun. And I would say that to a little hermit crab, the thought of going down into the vast canyon of the world would be intimidating, because they're little. So in your present, you're gazing down on the wider world and being faced with that inequality. And so the choice is there for you. It's like, what inequalities can I address? How can I make my little world around myself safe for everybody? What can I do? And that's a big journey. And finding ways to ground yourself during that is important, as well as grounding yourself in that goal of addressing those inequalities. So let's see what tarot has to say about this middle world. Ooh, very interesting. 7 of Swords. And of course, swords is air, and you are an air sign, so you get it. Now the 7 of Swords is occasionally, like here we have like, I don't know, either a weasel or a ferret or something like that. And they're a lot of times associated with this sneakiness. And in the original 7 of Swords, in the Smith-Waite situation, it's someone stealing swords, kind of absconding with them, running away with them. Although in this image, while our little furry friend is kind of making a bit of a possibly sly face, we don't know where he got these swords. And here's the thing. Sometimes when we are facing inequalities, when there is something that we need to fight for, sometimes we have to change tactics, and sometimes we do just have to go in there and take what belongs to others. So perhaps this weasel has taken these swords to share, best case scenario, with those who need them. Maybe in this little furry guy's society, everyone has a sword, but there's a group that don't, and that puts them in danger, and they need swords as well. That's a weird analogy. Just so you know, I'm not a guns rights person, and I'm not like, I might be American, but I'm not like, yes, everybody has to have it. I'm not saying that. This is just trying to talk about inequality. So if let's say they're not swords, maybe let's say they're wings, because let's go with air. bringing the wings, the power of flight to everyone so that everyone can fly and everyone isn't just earthbound. That might work better. I like that better. I didn't like the direction that was going in my head as far as weapons go. But also too, sometimes with the weapon analogy, yeah, let's go with that. With the weapon analogy, sometimes those who are facing inequality, they need to be given the means and the tools to fight for themselves. Because those who see themselves as above those others, they have those means. And those who have been disadvantaged, they need the means to fight back, and that's important. And it may be, Libra, that in your search for grounding, in your search for a place to put down roots, you're the one that needs to go in to the other side's camp and get those resources to share with those who don't have them, so that they have a chance, a fighting chance. And that's beautiful. So let's talk about this upper world here. The upper world is the sun, and it has this beautiful ray of light going down all the way into the lower world, into your past. And so what this is saying is that while you're doing this here, and you're fighting for those who need a champion to fight for them, make sure that you are in balance within your own family, within your own community. Heal yourself, and then heal your family. And then you can work towards healing the world. So starting where you are. You shine bright, you're strong. You know a lot of things. You have wisdom. And you're willing to get down and dirty to take care of what needs to be taken care of. But remember that you need that equality within yourself and then within your family before you can fully enact that on the world stage. And you can work on all three of those areas at the same time. It's not like you know, because those are all journeys. We don't come to full healing and balance in ourselves. That's always a journey we're on. We're always having to keep putting those roots down. Same with family, same with world. So you're the scales. Balance those three out. So let's see what the tarot has to say about that. Ah ha ha! Perfection. Air sign. King of air signs. King of swords. I love it. Look at this king. He is everything. I love him. With his little butterflies as well. Oh, he is wonderful. So, as the King of Swords, so in your future, in that shows a self-mastery, and a self-mastery of your own element of air. You're getting kingly. And where you would ground, where the roots come out, your kingliness, you desire to be a good king that brings resources to others and has wisdom. And this very much kind of shows that whole thing, like different realms in which you express this and put down those roots. Oh my word, Libra, this is beautiful. Blessings on this journey. These natural proclivities, this equality bringer that you are, is a beautiful thing and is so needed in this world. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope I get to read with you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, lovely Scorpio, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. So for your sacred site, we are going east to Jerusalem. And we will begin with your lower world, that is past. And here we see the Wailing Wall. a place for the Jewish people to mourn the loss of the temple. And while this is, oh, it's very heavy, but I feel like this is an invitation for you to think about what it is you mourn, what in your past brings weeping. And then also having the realization that energy is never destroyed, it just changes form. So that which you have lost reformulates into something new. So let's see what tarot has to say about this lower world. And for your reading, we are using the Druidcraft Tarot. Aha! We've got the King of Pentacles, King of Earth. So this King of Pentacles, he is kind of bringing into play, because he's kind of an earth king, and yet in his earthly kingdom, he kind of brings into play all of the other elements here and that balance. And so as we see fire in action on this side, we also see this bright sky and air. And fire destroys. This fire looks to be cooking a boar. So this boar has lost his life. Yet over here in the window, we have this bird, still alive, full of flight and energy. And above the king here, we have holly, which is an evergreen and is an energy that keeps going. So I think that as we address the lower world, the past, that which makes you weep, we also see that balance. So finding that balance for yourself, of seeing how the energy changes into new things. Very morbid, but the king, when he eats his dinner, the energy of the boar changes form into energy for him. Very morbid, I know. But things like that. So think of how that which you have lost, how you can integrate that into your present moment to bring you new energy. So let's look at the middle world here. And in the middle world here, we have Zion. And now this is a place of pilgrimage for 3 different Abrahamic faiths. And because of this, because it is sacred to 3 different faiths, it also becomes a place of conflict. So this is an invitation for you in your present to look to what is causing conflict and chaos in your present life, and how can you harmonize that? Find the root, look to what you truly believe, and that will ground you. You'll find that place of yourself and release that chaos and conflict. Deal with them and send it away so that you can have peace. So that's really beautiful. Let's see what tarot has to say about your middle world, the present, and the dealing with chaos. Oh, that's beautiful. The 10 of Cups. So 10 is the completion of the suit of cups, but it also signals a new rotation through, a new journey. So we have the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Water, the 10 of Emotion, and you, my dear, beautiful Scorpio, are a water sign. So this is this is your suit, and this is the completion of that suit. So in the present, I can see that your source of grounding is developing that love of your family, whether that's your physical family or your chosen family. or even just yourself, depending on where you're at in your life. But just having that fullness, seeing the rainbow, you're filling your cups. Fill your cups with good things. And the more that you do that, and the more that you share those full cups with those that you love, the more you will be able to root out conflict and chaos. That is beautiful. So now let's look at your upper world, which is the potential, the future. And here we have the Ark of the Covenant. A very ancient, sacred item. And so this says that in the future, in the upper world, because you've been doing this work to see what you believe and to get rid of conflict and chaos, you'll then be able to stand rooted in your own sovereignty, in your own power, because you know you have the strength of the covenant that you have made with life itself, and you have that knowing. So let's see what tarot has to say about that. Oh, lovely. The Lovers. Oh, I love it. Because obviously these lovers, whether it's just for the afternoon or for a lifetime, in both the afternoon and whether, you know, whatever the duration that they have promised to each other, whether it's a day or forever, there's a covenant there and a physical sealing of that covenant for that time period. And that is so beautiful. And it's an emotional covenant as well. It's deep and long and beautiful. So I think what this is saying is that you will find your place of grounding by rooting into that which you love. Because the Ten of Cups also is showing us love. And yes, love can make us weep, but it can also bring us ecstasy, and it can bring us joy. That was beautiful. Thank you for joining me, dear Scorpio. I hope I get to read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, lovely Sagittarius, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. So for your sacred site, we are going east, and we are also going very, very far back in time. I've decided that if it's a word that I don't feel confident that I could pronounce, I'm not going to say it, so you can just read the location from the card. So what we have here is the oldest temple complex that we have yet found. And it's quite interesting because it seems that this temple complex was intentionally buried, but then later they made smaller versions of it in the surrounding area to continue the worship, and there may have been a shift in the way that worship or religion was occurring. So quite interesting. So let's begin here in the lower world, which is the past. And I know it can be a little bit frightening to see a skull in the past. But what this is pointing to is resurrection. So even though you feel that you may have been buried in the past, or you have buried things in the past, it is possible to resurrect it in different ways, in smaller ways. So let's see what the tarot has to say about this for you today. And we are using the Brady Tarot for your reading. Aha! Very excited. Major Arcana. So, we have the Magician. And what I'm sensing here from this Magician is that you are capable of wearing many hats. You have a decent understanding of the 4 elements and you can utilize them. It may have been in traumatic circumstances where that pushed you to have that knowledge and that flexibility over the elements, but you have it. You have many skills. You are a magical person, and hopefully you're aware of that. The Magician. And perhaps in the past, your magician self, you feel like it got buried. And perhaps we are coming to a time where you need to resurrect that power in yourself. Resurrect the magician within yourself because you know it. It is part of you. You are powerful. So let's look at the middle world, which is the present. And here we have these very curious carvings that were discovered at the site that are strange because some of the images look like they could be prehistoric animals, which how would they know about them? Or maybe they are like deities or snake-like creatures. There's a lot of mystery in the center here. And this is saying that as you unbury yourself, as you resurrect yourself, as you resurrect your magician, don't be afraid to rethink things. Don't be afraid to deconstruct your path. Because just because someone told you that you had to go a certain way, that isn't necessarily true. Just because somebody told you that your gifts had to be used in a certain way, that isn't necessarily true. It might be that you buried your own little temple complex in the past because of the fact that people were telling you that you had to use your gifts in a certain way, or that you had to be a certain thing. So it's time to unbury that and also rethink. You can use your magic in other ways. And whatever trauma or event caused the burying, as you resurrect those powers within yourself and ground yourself within yourself, you will find that your options are limitless. You can use your gifts and your mastery and your fluidity and your fire, you're a fire sign, to burn as brightly, to do whatever it is that you want to do, however you want to use it. No one gets to tell you what you do or what you believe. So let's look at what the tarot has to say about the middle world. Ooh, the Chariot. We are keeping in that major arcana energy. So sometimes the Chariot is pictured in like stasis, like not moving, and sometimes it's moving. This Chariot is moving. These birds are in flight. They're going. And they're all different kinds of birds. And you are a multifaceted person. You have so many skills and different facets to yourself that you're ready to show. It's time. It is time to build yourself a new temple complex. It is time to ground yourself in yourself and go forward with your powers. I like that there's birds. It's all birds. We're all coming up with birds here. To soar and be who you really are. Experiencing that shift in awareness about yourself and about the world, and not letting anybody else tell you what it is you believe. You call the shots. You and your spirit guides and your relationship to the universe, they call the shots. And you are going to use your gifts in your own unique way. That's, oh wow. I am so lit. Also, we have more birds, because here at the top, in the upper world, in the future, we have a vulture. Now, a lot of people are freaked out by, you know, the carrion birds, but they're super important because they carry away that which is dead. They consume that which is rotting to aid in the rebirth of life, to aid nature in its process of turning with the seasons, aiding in. So this vulture is here to help you dispose of the old baggage, the old ways of thinking in your life. It's here to help you as you identify beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, beliefs that have been forced upon you, things that don't hold true to you now. The vulture is here to go, thank you very much, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. So that's very exciting. So let's see what the tarot has to say about this future and potentiality. Oh, I love it. I love it. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So in this one, the Ace of Roots, enchantment. And this is beautiful because we have flying insects up here. And we also have these beetles burrowing in the ground, and we have the roots. We have the majesty of the stars, and we have that which is buried. And this is such a beautiful, balanced image. And your future, as you release and let the vulture take away that which is no longer serving you, is filled with the magic and enchantment of life, because you know where your roots go. Everything will be in harmony. You will be the magician again, but you will be the magician of joy and of enchantment. And you will be the magician for yourself. And by being there for yourself, you are also there for the world. I am so excited for you. You are beautiful and you are powerful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I get to read again for you sometime, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, dear Capricorn, my wonderful goat merfolk, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. So for your sacred location, your sacred site, we are going east to Delphi or Delphi. We're going to begin in the lower world, which is the past. And here we have Know Thyself. This is an invitation, actually really more of a command, telling you that it is time to be honest with yourself, to take off your masks and say, what do I actually believe? What makes me happy? What upsets me? It's intense, but we've got to start there. If we want to truly ground and root ourselves within ourselves, we need to know ourselves. So let's see what tarot has to say about this. And for your reading, we are using my tin pocket size, not celestial, centennial Smith-Waite deck. We're going traditional here. We're just going with the oldie but the goodie. Also, full disclosure, I am a Capricorn moon, so this will be a bit of me preaching to the choir. So let's see. Four of Cups. Well, okay. So we have apathy and boredom here. This person is just looking at these cups And to be honest, they aren't very interested in them. They're over it. But they also seem to, whether consciously or unconsciously, not be looking at the cup that the universe, that spirit, that the fairies, that it, whoever, they're being offered a new cup. And they're not taking it at this minute. Hopefully, in the next frame of this picture, they will. So, oof. I would like to say this is the cup of knowing thyself. And it is important to grab it. Perhaps in the past, you've been like, nope, no thank you. I don't want to, that's just too much. But for reals, if you haven't taken that cup, and you may have taken that cup in the past, and that's beautiful, but if you haven't yet, or if you need to take it again, or take up a new cup, knowing thyself, gotta do that. That's where everything starts. You can't ground within yourself if you don't know thyself. So, let's now take a look at the middle world. Here we have the place where the oracle resided. So here's the beautiful thing. Once you have taken that cup of self-knowledge and you've drunk of it deeply and you've taken those masks off, you're gonna have to face the fact that you're an oracle. You're an oracle, baby. I mean, think about it. You're both a goat and a mer person. You are a traveler between the worlds, and you bring back knowledge. So you need to, once you've been honest with yourself and taken those masks off, you need to open yourself to the seeing beyond the veil, and bringing back that wisdom and knowledge for others as an oracle. And you need to trust in your own voice, trust in your own intuition. And I know that can be very difficult. I mean, look, here I am, Capricorn moon, and before every time I do a reading, I have this moment of like, can I actually do that? But you know what? It always turns out. A message always comes forth. So you need to know thyself and then help others to know themselves. Be the oracle. So let's see what Tarot has to say about that today. Queen of Wands. Yes, we have Fire Queen. That is exciting. And as an earth sign, fire can be a little daunting. Fire it destroys. That's a lot, but sometimes its destruction is necessary. Other times it's unavoidable, but nature will use that to fertilize the earth. So in your oracleness, in your seership, you need to allow yourself that fire. Allow the fires of inspiration to burn and to bring forth that incense, that ecstasy that gives you the ability to bring forth messages as an oracle, to be in your own sovereignty and to trust your own voice. Because you look at this queen, she knows what she's about. She definitely knows herself, and she is fully in that sovereignty. She is not afraid. She's got sunflowers. She's got a wonderful cat. She is free and she knows it. And she is so free that she projects that freedoms to others. And that's something you are capable of. You can do that. You can bring the messages that free others and cause them to burn brightly. So let us see what your upper world or possibility future holds in this card. So here we have, I believe it's Apollo, but we have the sun. And this is, honestly, it's just saying, you shine. You shine, baby. Like the sun. That fire of oracle. You, whatever space you're in, you can make it sacred space, you can bring forth those messages. So let's see what the tarot has to say about this here. Well, talk about just, there we go. Ace of Wands. Ace of Fire. You may be an earth sign, and you may have your tail in the water and your head above water. But baby, it's time to get that wand and shine. Be that fire. Root yourself. Get your earthy rootedness down so that you can be a light for others and a light for yourself. Oh, that was exciting. I love it. I love it. I love tarot. Once again, see, being an oracle is an absolute delight most of the time. Believe in yourself. Trust your voice. You have something to say. So say it and have confidence in that saying. You shine bright. And take that cup. Don't just sit there. It was wonderful to have you here with me today. I hope that I can read for you again, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, my lovely Aquarius, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. So for your sacred site, we are going east. And because I don't want to mispronounce words that I'm unsure of, I'm just gonna let you read the location on the card. So we're gonna begin with your lower world, which is the past. And here we see the yin and the yang. And that is about the balance of opposites. And behind this, we see a dragon. Now, the dragon in Asian cultures is seen as a force of fertility, of fluidity, of help, of nourishment. It's very positive. Dragons are to be venerated. Whereas in the West, Western dragons are seen as destructive and scary and greedy, and there's something that must be slain. And so it seems that in your past, you have had to look at opposites and find the balance between the two. And perhaps as well, get that dragon energy to burn forward and forge your own path. Because it seems like those around you, or the way you're being told to do things, it doesn't suit you. And so you come into that dragon area to forge your own path, which is very Aquarian. Very Aquarian. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your past here. And for your reading, we are using the Celtic Tarot by Christopher Hughes. Ooh, and we got a dragon. Look at that, with the Strength card. Starting off with Major Arcana. This is amazing. So in the Strength card, we have a compassionate strength. So we have this gentle person who is just gently stroking the dragon's head, and they're at peace. But also, if a threat were to come, the dragon would protect this person. So this would be you. These opposites, because it would seem that the person of skin and primate lineage is very different from the lizard scaliness of this dragon. But they have come together as companions, and in that companionship, there is strength. So you know how to be gentle, but you also know how to send that fire forth and burn stuff down that needs to be burned down. So Wow, I love it. Now let's look at your middle world. In your middle world, we have these thousands of steps that have been climbed up for over 3,000 years by commoner and royal alike up to this temple. And the invitation here in the present is this. Are you ready to climb the mountain? Have you been stuck at the bottom of the steps wondering, can I do this? Should I do this? How should I do this? And you have three choices. You can choose to remain at the bottom and not reach the summit and reach that enlightenment, or you can use the well-traveled path of those who've come before you, or you can scale the mountain in your own way. Is it time for you to choose your own way and scale the mountain? Or have you found a traditional way? These are all questions that only you can answer. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your middle world, the present. Ooh. Page of Swords. So when we have a page, that's kind of like a novice, a beginner. So it may be that in the present you are beginning something new to you. It's a new path. And you are an air sign. This is the sign of air. So it may be that your true harnessing of the air element, that element of the mind and of air and flight, is a bit new at the minute for you. And you're having to decide how to climb. And I see here that this page is at a high point. They have climbed up this tower. And it is surrounded by a choppy sea, so it hasn't been easy, and yet there is light around them. They're ascending. They're either jumping or floating. So whichever way you choose to scale the mountain, you are having this sense of air and weightlessness. And you are ready to learn. You are ready to begin your journey. So let's see what the upper world, the future, the possibility has to say. And here we have the lovely sun goddess. And she's here to remind you of your destination. So regardless of how you choose to scale the summit, she is there to smile at you and say, yes, I know it's hard. There will be hardship. But soon you will reach the top and you will feel that sense of achievement and you will be amazed at how far you've come. And you can root yourself within yourself. You can ground yourself in the present and within yourself, while also seeing her smiling upon you and calling you forward. So let's see what the tarot has to say about this future possibility upper world. Oh, lovely. We have the star, the beautiful star. And the star, this is in the future, the star has achieved something. This is that moment of rest after the struggle. And that's what you have to look forward. See, the star, you can follow a star. You can travel and follow that star. The star, very much like the goddess here. And I'm sorry, I haven't said her name. I'm afraid of mispronouncing it. Definitely get the deck or do some research and then you can know who she is. But here we go. We have the goddess. So you see that destination, that balance in your future, that brightness, and it helps you move forward in your own way. That was gorgeous and very exciting. I am so happy that you chose to join me today, and I hope that I get to read for you again. talk to you later. Bye. Welcome, dear Pisces, my lovely little fishies, to your Finding Your Place of Grounding reading. And for your sacred site, we are going west, I believe. Yes, west. And I'm not going to read words that I don't think I can pronounce, so I will let you see it there. So we will begin with the lower world, which is the past. And here we have a mask that was discovered buried within the temple complex here. And so it really feels that in your past, you've had to really take into account and consider how your masks are serving you. Are they serving you well? Are they becoming a part of you? Or are they just you hiding yourself from the world? Are they offering good protection? Or are they keeping you from your potential? So let's see what the tarot has to say about the lower world, the past. And for your reading, we are using the Wildwood Tarot. The Archer. I love it. Major Arcana energy. So an archer has to have focused and know what they're aiming at. It may be that in the past, you weren't sure what you're aiming at, because for most of us, you know, we don't always know. We're just kind of trying to figure it out. But you desired that target, and you became weary of just loosing arrows into random directions. You need to find that point. And in truth, that target is yourself, your true self. So it is time to focus on your target, and that is yourself. Now, for the middle world, we have the temple complex itself. And this temple complex is truly complex. There is links to the other world, Temple of the Sun, Temple of the Moon, the Avenue of the Dead. It is built upon even more ancient things. There are ancient pyramids around it. It is super complex. And it may be that as you, in the present, as you are seeing yourself, you are discovering, as we all must discover, that we are all much more complex than we previously thought. Like, there's a lot there. And so finding that target is a lot more complicated than you thought, but also it is more simple. So let's see what the tarot has to say about your journey throughout the temple complex that is yourself, so that you can find a way to root into yourself. Ooh, okay, we got the Guardian. Yes, this card looks scary. I want to say that it's supposed to be death, but as we know, death is rebirth. This, regardless of, I'm getting lost here. Oh, let me stay focused. You need to travel. That's where you're needing to aim. You're needing to aim into the center of yourself, into the other world of yourself. You need to contend with the guardian that is also yourself. And that is intense, but it's so important. The complexities that lie behind this bare skeleton guardian are so vast, much like this temple complex. And it might seem overwhelming in your present, the amount of things that you need to contend with and take note of. But oh baby, it will be worth it. It will be worth it so that you can ground in yourself and not feel like you're just randomly loosing arrows. So let's look at your upper world here. And in the upper world, we have a goddess of fertility, whose name I'm afraid of saying. And she is here to destroy all that doesn't serve you. So as you make this journey through the complex in the present, she is here to say, is that not working for you? Kill it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Let's get rid of everything that isn't serving and bring forth what is your true self, what will serve your true self now. So let's see what the final card here of the tarot says about the upper world, the potential, the future. Ooh, and arrows, the Queen of Arrows, the Swan. So we've got a fire queen here, but she is, as a swan, she is on the water, and you are a water sign. And she is graceful, but she's also strong, and she has a fire in her. If she feels that you're threatening, she can take you down. She's a swan mama. Swan mamas aren't playing. I feel like I could even say, like, see her in a similar guise to the goddess here. And she is sure of herself. She is graceful. So as you make this journey and find your target and begin loosing your arrows with intention, you will find that you yourself develop into that queenly swan air energy, that fire. Is that fire? No, I am lying. That's arrows. That's air. Sorry about that. Arrows is air. I have another deck with arrows in it. Anyway, I'm confused. At any rate, let's focus on that swan goddess energy here. She does not suffer fools. Swans do not suffer fools. They take care of business, and they know who they are, and they know what they're doing. And that is where you will get to. You will be grounded in that, and yet still have that fluidity of water, that fluidity of air to help guide you. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope I get to read for you again. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.